5 wins out of the gate. My title's experiential. Stealth was so good.
Hey legends, welcome back to another episode of Chatting with Chattin.
We'd be able to do that for sure. It gets busier every year, honestly, but
right.
it's just been this year. I've found it. I kind of always just like, look, we'll get it done. We'll get everything sorted. And this year it's been like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this sorted.
Yeah.
I am genuinely out of time.
Is that just generally because the QI10, breaking inertia, it's just been big on the golf world, or is the golf world getting really popular, or what are your thoughts on that?
Definitely for the driver, yes. I think that has started it off. We've also just got golf ball that we're releasing as well, so it makes us really busy.
Yeah.
It's just from a processor's point of view, and orders and stuff like that going out to like all the stores, Greengrass and other stores as well. So whenever you get a ball launch plus metalwood launch and stuff like that as well, it just makes it doubly as as busy. But it's good. It's good to be busy,
Absolutely.
So it's no complaints at all. It's just how it is. I just think we're just growing as a brand as well. Still, all of our players are playing so well. We've obviously had 5 wins out of the gate, which also really helps as well with the product. But
awesome, isn't it? Yeah, like I've got a mate who just went out and got fitted for his QI10, and he just can't wait to get it in his hands. He said he just felt incredible with it in his hand at the simulator. He's just like, I can't wait to get it in his hand. So it's actually sitting at Drummond Golf now. He's picking it up Friday. He can't wait. So he's stoked.
I'm in Sydney at the moment with one of our HPS guys, and he's just installed like his simulator. So same thing. It's just everybody's finding great ball speed. So in the nets, it's really, really good. It's just across the board. All the woods are better. And that's hopefully how it comes across as well every year. I think last year was probably, we didn't really have that feeling. I think, Stealth was so good, and I don't think that there was a huge separation between Stealth 2, but this year there genuinely is. So that's the buzz probably that you touched on before, but yeah.
Do you feel a popularity, whether like, obviously you can't say too much but because you don't work for the other companies, but do you feel there's Taylormades are really high up and the Callaways than the Pumas, or what do you sort of feel on that?
I think there's a lot of, it depends how you frame it, like European Tour, I think we've got a lot of fairway woods in play. A lot of guys that aren't even contracted, they use our fairway woods. I think that's kind of very, very underrated and not really spoken about, is like how many guys that we don't even support and our fairway woods are up there.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to answer it like maybe category wise, we might not be there with driver, and it's because a lot of the other companies might have like a driver contract in play. You've got to play the driver, for us to pay you this, support you with all of this, blah, blah, blah. So I would say that, on the categories where, maybe a lot of the companies don't have a contract in play, we're up there. And then I think it's more for, that category that, the product that is in the categories for our guys, they're all switching into the new driver as well. In terms of us versus the other competitors, we're probably not there. We had a huge shift in our strategy many years ago to really kind of buckle down, get the top guys that we were really wanting, and I think we got them all in. That was obviously Tiger and Rory, Holding DJ. We got Morikawa. We had John Rahm. So we had really the main few that we wanted, and then obviously some have left the camp. Some of new guys have come back in with Scotty Scheffler, still coming on board. And then again, I think it's just highlighting some other players that don't play our products, that our product can still get into their bags. It's kind of a big thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And with your role, do you have any of the communication with the higher ups overseas to say let's target Rory, let's target these players?
Nah, not really for those level of players. It's more the young crop coming through. So, Jeffrey Guan is a 16, 17-year-old. So he's, while I was late today, he's just come back from obviously Hunter Valley. It's a 3-hour drive, so I was a bit delayed and etc. So yeah, it was just fitting him with all the other stuff. He's got the new driver, but it's locking onto those guys when they're around 16, 17-ish, maybe even a little bit younger if they're, quite established. That I'm more the guy for Australia to then just pass it on to the other regions, and then when they become better players, then they'll really start to work with our top fitters, and then our marketing team and things get a lot more serious then.
Yeah, right. That's awesome.
So yeah, but not the top guys. I don't really have to do much, with that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who is the one player that you've seen come up that you're just like, wow, yep, you're next?
Jeffrey, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff Guan. I came through the ranks with Jason Day.
Yep.
And he's the last junior that I remember that's dominated as much as like what Jeffrey's doing now. So yeah, just with like, shooting some rounds where it's like a complete separation, like he's, completely dominated and bullied him basically, like he's won, tournaments by like 12 shots where it's just beyond a joke. So yeah, he's definitely the next big thing that I see coming out of our country. And then, like I said, I would liken him to a Jason Day where it's just, you just knew that he was going to do that. I only played really like a few junior tournaments where Jason was in the field, but it was the exact same thing. I just listened to other players, and there's 140 other juniors all saying the same thing. Hey, we're playing for second, third, this week. Like, that's right, yeah. And then you'd just be sucked into them. You'd be looking at him on the range, just being like, he's wiping the golf club every single time after every practice shot. He's already like a ultimate professional, just at such a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, such a young age. So, yeah, you get those ones. I think that they're like a diamond in the rough where Australia hasn't had many of them, I don't think, in the last, kind of like years. It's kind of like been the guys are getting there, but it's taken them a little bit longer, I reckon. But yeah, there's still some great talent. I've been watching, a lot of the local stuff a lot more this year, more than the previous years, because I think the pathways are looking a lot better through the Aussie Tour. So, seeing a Brett Coletta win and Kazuma, what he's doing is unbelievable.
He's on fire.
Yeah. So, it's been really good golf to watch.
It has been, yeah. I reckon I've watched. It's a bit of a shame because I'm guessing you get to a lot of them live where, being just sort of like I'm in Ballarat in Victoria, so it's a fair way to travel for some of these events to actually just go and watch for the day. But I sort of get a bit disappointed with KO and Fox. They put on only round 3 and 4 on the weekends, but they put it on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so you're not really seeing I've got a bit to do with Benny Wharton. I'm going to interview Lincoln Tai, same as what we're doing right now in a couple of weeks. I'd like to see those guys and stuff like that. You're sort of only getting the last group from hole 9, and you think, I'd love to see a bit more. But yeah, I've tuned in every weekend for a few weekends, and it's just great to watch. I love Australian golf. Yeah.
It'll probably get better and better. I think they're with a new TV company now, so it's at least they're showing a lot more than what I remember of like watching some of it as well. So yeah, hopefully it gets better.
Yeah. So Benj, let's talk through your role with Taylormade. Just someone's come up and said, "Oh, where do you work?" What do you tell them? What's the description you give them?
Yeah, it's hard. My title's experiential supervisor, I think it is now. So basically, I wear a few different hats. It's a really tough one to answer straight away because I still fit for a few days, and then I manage our TMPL locations. So that's the Taylormade Performance Lab. So we really just look at that of how's the traffic coming through. It's a lot of reporting and things like that. Then we I report based on our fitting days outside as well. So, in my team, I manage the guys that go out on the road and do a lot of those fittings out there. And then we look at a few other reports from Select Fit, which I'm looking over here because they've got like our Select Fit stuff. So that's obviously where a location, a green grass location or a big box will obviously use those fitting heads to then obviously sell golf clubs, to the consumers that are after some new clubs. So it's that, and then it's also loading in a lot of training content also. So it's kind of like a few pillars there that I kind of really main on, which would be like training, and that includes our own team and, our top guys that are HPS. Select Fit is a part of that as well, but it's a little bit more in reporting on, how well they're going, do they understand what they've been given, etc. A little bit of the elite amateur stuff that I touched on, and then the main one is still fitting a lot as well. So yeah, that's kind of experiential. If you think of it, it's like brand. It's really just covering a lot of that stuff, but it's consumer experience. So that's why it's called experiential.
Yeah, right. And where did you start? What was your first role with Taylormade?
I was a casual fitter because I was still playing the PGA Pro-Am, still wanting to be a bit more of a tour player. So I did my apprenticeship or traineeship. I finished that in 2010. I went to try and play after realizing that I couldn't play, and then I was out of money. I had to find full-time work. And then I was just interested in doing fitting or teaching professional, like as a PGA professional as well. So it was just kind of the right time, right place. I was kind of always on the cusp of making the cut, missing, blah blah blah. And then I was just kind of like already done with playing. I was like, no, I don't think I want to keep doing this. So there was a job at Taylormade, and I took that as a casual, still could play, and then I just moved into like part-time and full-time, and then I've been with Taylormade for 10 years now.
Unreal. And you obviously love it because you've been there 10 years. You don't stay in a job for a decade if you don't love it. So you would meet some incredible people, some pretty cool people. Who would be, I know we can't really say who's your favourite, but who would be some of the biggest people, like whether they're AFL stars or, like Ron Chopper, or like who's one of the biggest you've fitted?
I think always fitting someone that's been knighted by the Queen is pretty big. So Sir Viv Richards would be the biggest.
Nice.
And then I'm not huge into cricket. I used to play when I was younger, but I don't really follow it. But he's definitely up there. He just had like an entourage with him, while we did the fitting session. So it was a bit of a difficult one. I fitted Nat Fyfe. He was personally like just one of my favorite AFL players, and it was good to watch him in on a session as well, like kind of like start off, not hitting it, he was probably hitting it quite soft or whatever, protecting his shoulder at the time. And then he turned into like a really, really good player, and he really enjoyed the fitting. So that was kind of a really good experience with him. Trying to think, there's a lot, and I'm name dropping a lot, mate, so I understand it. Harry Kuehl, he came as well. I fitted him. There's probably a few that I'm forgetting. There's been a lot of obviously AFL and NRL players, because obviously they've got huge reach. They all enjoy, their golf and things like that. But then it would just be shadowing more the tour fitters that I kind of like learn off. In the past, like Adrian, we spent a lot of time with Tommy Fleetwood dialing in like a 5-wood and stuff like that, and working with Tommy Fleetwood was pretty sweet. It was more Adrian doing that than me, but it was just like being there, being in the conversation was really cool. So anytime that you get a top 20 player in the world, that was unreal to be a part of. Outside of that, I'm trying to really think of maybe anybody else. Not off the top of my head, sorry.
No, that's cool. They are some huge names. Like I didn't expect you to drop like Viv Richards or Harry Kuehl or anything like that. But that's unbelievable. So you talk about Tommy Fleetwood. Did he come to you, or did you go to him?
No, it was more, that was at a PGA Tour tournament in Japan. So luckily I got to go there for the week and just, act as a tour rep with like Adrian and Keith, the main guys that fit those top elite players. And it was more, there was products being built for Tommy. So it was kind of like, we've got to go and check in with Tommy. So it's more you're approaching them on the range.
Okay.
I think there'd been some prior testing with Tommy with a competitor club. And then we're trying to obviously beat that club and shift it out of the bag sort of thing.
Yes.
So yeah, we kind of got a 5-wood in a really good spot for him. Then Adrian was like, hey, can you run back to the truck and just, minor tink this, give it a touch more loft, make it a little bit more upright.
Yep.
And then boom, Tommy was talking about his numbers, that he wanted to kind of see it in a specific window.
Yep.
First shot straight on using a TrackMan. It was just like exactly what he wanted for a launch and spin. So
goals.
excuse me, just dialed it. So
yeah, goals.
That was, it was really, really cool to see that. And then I think 2 weeks later, he hit like literally that 5-wood into the last at Sun City where he won the Nedbank challenge. So that was also kind of cool to see. Wow, that wood, he's trusted. Exactly, yeah, he's trusted it. He's obviously still going to hit the shot, but it was just kind of just had that feeling where you're just like, wow, that was pretty cool. You just see that he's holding like the 5-wood and you're just like, far out, that was cool. Like we fitted that, two weeks ago. So yeah, it's pretty sick.
It's pretty cool. Like, so one of the main reasons I wanted to get you on this, well, we're calling it a podcast now, is because when you're in golf, like as a player or a caddy even, and a viewer like myself, like we're sitting there watching, but we don't understand the science that goes into that piece of equipment, right? Mm-hmm. So the reason why I wanted to get you on was to talk about things like that. That's really incredible. So it's just mind-boggling. You spent some time with Tommy on the range, and you just tinkered little by little by little until he got exactly what he said. I'm going to punch it through this little window here, and obviously jaw drop, and you went, holy shit! Like that's so cool that we did that. But then he goes out with his caddy on the PGA Tour, and no one knows that you've even been onto that, but you can sit there and go, I did that. I mean, me and Adrian did that.
Yeah, well, I'd say it's definitely more Adrian, not at all me. I literally ran to the truck to go and bend it, and that was it. But and run back. And I was just sweating my balls off. I remember. I like wrote it down. I was a little bit nervous, so I like wrote it down my palm. I was like, okay, this is what it checked out at. I've got it correct. Yeah, but it's cool. It's fulfilling. Obviously those weeks are unreal. I'm mainly just fitting a lot of punters, and it's still the same feeling when they just go, wow, I've never been able to hit a draw, or I've never been able to fly my 3-wood that distance. That's what I wanted. So you still get that in fitting. That's where it's a really cool job.
Yeah, great.
But obviously that week was just, it was jaw dropping because it was just like, all right, Tommy wants to see this flight window, and then literally we could see that he was just fatting the 3-wood. It was just like, hey, he doesn't like it. Like it's clearly a little bit too flat, low loft. It was really low spinning. So we just tinkered those two things, and then, boom, it just all kind of like stars align sort of thing. So that's really cool, where you're just like, yep, I knew that should have happened. Really, you could see what was happening. Yep. And then, then it obviously worked. But then, then you see some other shots that he was like hitting with that, at other tournaments, and you're like, that's pretty cool. Yeah. That you were just a very, very small part of it.
But you are a part of it, and that's really incredible. I really like that. I think that's pretty cool. Did you and Adrian have much to do? I don't know whether this was before it or after it. His mini driver, why he was taking the mini driver more, or?
No, this was Japan, and I need to think if it was correct, in 2019. The one that Tiger won. Because that was just the rest of that week. That's why I was smiling so much when I was talking about that with Fleetwood. It was just it was one of the best weeks of my life. Tiger winning. I remember that first round, but the mini driver wasn't really out then to answer the question. I think mini driver just caught everyone by surprise. It was a bit of it was a big throwback to the old burner bubble as well. So they did a great job with that. But it's a really hot club. Because it's like a big 3-wood is how I explain it. Yep. That a lot of people do find control from that, but if we do test it center of gravity wise, it's actually not it's on the lower spectrum of control.
Yep.
So it's quite an interesting piece of equipment yeah. And then we saw him put it in play. We saw Bryson put it in play. We saw Charles Schwartz or Adam Scott. The list goes on for how many guys like started to put it in play. So kind of like, wow, this thing's actually really coming in at second in the bag. So like people were swapping it out for their 3-wood.
Yep.
Because they could also play it off the deck, and then they might have been playing like a 5 or a 7-wood. Sorry, a lot of talking today. I'm losing my voice.
No, I can sort of hear it. That's fine. I won't take up too much more of your time, man. I really appreciate it.
No, that's all right.
Has there been anybody? Let's take away all the tour pros, the PGA guys, or like maybe our tour pros. But has there been anybody that you've fitted that you've eyes just went wide open and thought he is a pure striker? Like, that is the best golf swing I've seen from a AFL player or a cricket player or anyone come to mind that you went, holy shit, he can hit a golf ball?
Yeah, probably Nat Fyfe. And then I would also say a woman not like a celebrity or anything, but she does work quite high up at a business, and she was fantastic in the fitting session. Like she just turned into like an elite player. Yeah. She had really bad clubs. We always hear it a lot with the women, unfortunately, that they get the hand-me-downs and then they're just way too heavy. They're really, really hard, for them to hit. Joanne is her first name, and we got her just, the right spec, and, she was really enjoying the process and the attention that we were like giving her. And then she just started to just flush everything. Driver, fairway wood, 5-wood. It was just like, it was almost like everything that we did at the start was fake. Even testing her clubs, I was just like, you're just putting this on now. But then she just started like bombing driver, and just like facial expressions were like, just overjoyed. And that's again when it's like a fulfilling session. You're really there. They're happy that they're purchasing this stuff and they're getting bang for their buck. And so that was one that comes to memory. That she really enjoyed it, and I think she found me on Instagram. She was just like, I just had 45 points. Like, this is awesome.
That is really awesome. That's so cool. That's a really cool story. I really like that. That's great.
Pros are like that. I see some of my mates that still teach, and they're just like, they send it through, and I follow that and I message them. I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. Like, I've seen that you've been coaching this person. They're on their way down in their handicap, and they've obviously had like a 45 points or something.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. What sort of handicap do you run at the moment, Benj?
I'm off scratch, and I'm not playing to it at all.
Yep.
I'm probably about 3 or 4 over the last few times that I played. I've got I'm on my phone here, obviously, but I use our app that we've got, which is really just showing me all the strokes gained, where I need to work on it. It's obviously all in the chipping and putting.
Same. I feel you. I use Arcos, and it's getting very red in the short and the putting game. I don't practice enough, and you get out there and you think, surely today's going to be the day I putt well. But if you don't practice and you just... I've got this fella who's following me on Instagram, and he didn't like my putter grip. It's just that, same as a normal club. And I just roll a lot.
10 finger?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
baseball grip.
It's like you just roll a lot, and like I just flick the face of the putter. So in the last 2 rounds, I've been playing like that. And I don't know how, but it's just, I can hit it like out of the middle of the club. Now it's just all distance control and reading the green. So much happier, but it just takes time to get used to.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah. One question would be cool. Who's got the most unusual grip or swing that you've seen?
Well, yeah, you were just showing me like your grip there. I used to travel with a guy. I played like a very low series called the Hooters Tour, and I played with, and I think only 2 weeks I travelled with a guy named Robert Streb, and he 10 fingers as well. And then he had like a really loose action. So like exactly what like you were saying was exactly it. He would like really have this loose action, but his ball flight was just absolutely pure. But he might have lost his card, I think, over the last couple of years, but he was playing PGA Tour like probably 3 to 5 years, I think. So, he obviously then got promoted to PGA Tour, so he was playing some pretty good golf, and he's a 10-finger.
Yep.
I then remember watching a guy on Nationwide Tour back in about it would have been 2011, and I've forgotten his name, but he used to go backhanded and double finger and swing the golf club like that. You'd probably be able to Google it and find out his name, but yeah, that was pretty unusual that I saw.
Yep.
I think the guy yesterday that won, Daniel Gale, he's obviously got a very interesting action, but same thing. I'm sure that he'd really just drop it in a nice position, in delivery position, and there's plenty out there. It doesn't have to look pretty. Everyone knows that.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'm a big swing your swing guy, but I've probably paid my golf coach way too many times to make it look pretty, rather than think about more ball flight. But
Yeah. I got my coach over here. I'm not sure if you know him, Daniel DeFelici over at Ballarat. He's one of the.
The name rings a bell.
He used to play on tour, and he just sort of got into coaching and loves it and that sort of thing.
Yep.
And I got in with him, and I thought, get my swing right, and he's like, well, it is right. It's your swing. I don't want you to change your swing if that's comfortable and natural. We just got to change a few little things in your feet, in your knees, where you stand, and it'll all work out. Your swing's your swing. I'm not going to try and make you swing like Rory, because where he's watching me and he goes, because you're not going to swing like Rory. I can already see in your biomechanics it's not going to happen. We just make what you've got work. I thought that's a brilliant way to teach. So I'm sure you guys see a lot of But that second shot from Daniel on the 18th yesterday was awesome. He just dropped it. Boop, exactly where it was good.
Yep.
I just want to... So when I first asked you, this was how I was going to run this whole thing. It was just really quick, but I've got sort of... I'll take one out because it doesn't apply to you.
It's all right.
We've asked your handicap. What's your favourite club?
That's a good question. I'm going to say my 3-iron. I put a graphite shaft. I went to Japan, and the Taylormade team helped me out with the set, and they just literally made me one for free. I was very, very thankful for that. But I said, I want this in it, which is a P793 iron with a graphite shaft in it. I really wanted to just explore what I could do with it, and then I've loved that club, being able to hit different shots and hit it high off the tee and blah blah blah, try and hit it high coming into a green. So that's been my favourite club now to hit.
Yeah. Favourite course you've played?
I always love Royal Melbourne West every single time that I get to play it. So I'd say that is it. I luckily got to play Los Angeles Country Club, and I really loved that. And there's not many that I go there first time, and I'm like, wow, I'm in love with that golf course. I kind of have to play it a couple times to really, because I'm a bit oblivious. I miss out on some good features and things like that. But that was a big wow moment. Yeah, LACC.
That's a members only club, right?
Yeah. It was just a friend of a friend through connections.
So cool.
Got very lucky there as well.
Yeah. And that's sort of why I'm doing the podcasting and trying to build my page, and that I just want to meet really cool people and have people in the right spots. Not for any one reason, but just to, if someone says to me, I don't even know what the scenario would be, but I'd love to be like, just give Benji a message, see what he can do. Just things like that. So that's sort of what I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build a community, not for any one reason. It's just to have people on my team and just to keep growing.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the golf industry is a little bit like that. It is a bit of a tight knit community.
Yeah.
So definitely, I think a lot of people share contacts, and a bit of networking is happening a lot, I think, in our industry. So and it's only good stuff too. So
absolutely, yeah. There's outliers out there. There's people on Instagram who are are very different to how other people are trying to do it, and they sort of lose their way really quickly. And then the ones who are in it for each other and in it for each other, we we're just banding together and just keep moving forward. So I love it.
Yep.
What's your best score, mate? Ever?
Berwick Montuna Pro-Am, I had 61. It's a par 70, I think. Yeah, but I would count it more in a professional round where it's like it's meant something. But yeah, I had 60 at Berwick Montuna.
Yep, awesome. I've got a blank invitation to send to you. It's got Benji, you are invited to this golf club anywhere in the world. What would you like me to write down?
I think it's got to be like Sage Valley or Cypress, I think, from what everybody else says. So I don't know. That's a tough one, Corey. It'd be a place where I can't really get on, and even with the contacts that I do have, that would be really tough, really, really tough to get on. Kobe Golf Club in Japan apparently is really, really tough to get on as well, something like that. When it was like mint condition, yeah, probably the toughest one to get on. Not so much Augusta. I would probably look at the other ones. I think Sage Valley is really hard as well.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome.
Do you know much about them?
No.
Yeah.
Out of those, everyone gives me Augusta.
I would have thought they would have, but any of those three, I think, are really, really tough to go and play. And yeah,
I'm gonna contact you and say how are we gonna do this?
Yeah.
Who out of anyone you've seen, had anything to do with, you just love watching, who's your favourite golf professional?
Adam Scott, easily. I was lucky enough to meet him when I was 17, nearly 18, I think, just through a mate of mine that played footy for Melbourne. And he's just always said g'day to me over the years and things like that. And then watching, we played golf with him the first day that I met him as well, and it was just like up close. When you play inside the ropes with someone like that, he was just like far out. He'd just come off winning the Players Championship. That was just, it was ridiculous. And then learning off him, listening to some of the stuff only recently in the last, couple of years when he started to use our stuff as well. It's been good to, just listen to him. It's a former, number one in the world, Masters winner, etc. So easily him. And then I'd say him for sure.
So my follow-up question would be, not follow-up, but my next question would have been something along the lines of who's your favourite person you've ever played with? Would that be Scotty?
Yep. Easily, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Be him.
Love it. That's so good. Interesting question, because sometimes I get people who find it quite hard to answer or find it emotionally to answer, but who's your biggest influence on what you've done throughout your life?
I'd say Marcus Fraser. He's been really like an older brother to a lot of people. I come from Kingswood Golf Club, and he's really always instilled a couple of things in me to surround myself around good people and, obviously respect your reputation and things like that as well. So he's kind of always been that older brother, not just to me, to a lot of other juniors at our golf club as well. And he's just always had, time for anybody. So he's been really, really good from that standpoint to, chat to, and, a big part of me not playing golf as well, me thinking I'm not good enough to make it, mate. What do you think? What should I do from here?
Yep.
Yeah, he helped me with that, and he would easily be the person that I've learnt the most off, and influential in golf, and then all the way throughout for sure.
Yeah, that's really incredible. How often are you getting out to play?
Not very, but I love getting out to play. At the moment, I've got that bug sort of back. Life's gotten in the way. I've got a daughter that she's about to turn 2, so it's been life. Yeah, it's been unreal. Love being a dad, but and I've actually played more golf, to be honest, than 3, 4, 5 years ago. Since having a baby, actually. I know people say the opposite, but I wasn't playing a lot of golf through there. It was just busy. COVID was tough, for everybody and things like that. And then, but now we've started to play a little bit more. But I'll probably say Maybe 8 to 10 times a year.
Yep. That sort
Very.
of ruins my next question, because
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna try and see if you'd be interested in catching up for 9 rounds or something somewhere one day,
Yeah, absolutely.
because
Yeah.
that would be sick.
My problem, Corey, is just getting ahead of my schedule and just going, yep, I can commit to
Yep.
this Friday afternoon, or I
Yep.
can commit to this Sunday morning.
Yep.
Like 100%. I can always do it in, and I'm always happy to play with, anybody, really.
That
But
would be wicked.
mine just comes down to really poor management of, my spare time.
I'm happy to wait. You just, because you're Melbourne based, correct?
I'm in Melbourne, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I could come in and just get, if it's 18, it's 18. If it's 9, it's 9. It'd just be awesome
Yep.
to hit the greens with you. So
Yeah,
um,
easy.
if you I know I'm probably just small in your world, but if you ever think, all right, hey, I could play Sunday morning, give me a message. I'll
No,
fly up.
no one's small in my world. No, not at all.
That's really nice of you, mate. My next question is a bit of a fantasy.
Yep.
How does one get to come and experience Taylormade for a day as an experimental employee?
Yep. So come on
Work
board
experience.
okay.
Yeah.
Work experience.
How could we make that happen just for the day, so I could see what you guys do? That'd be so unbelievable.
We'd be able to do that for sure. We'd be able to have a person watch in. So we kind of do 3 full sessions, right? If we get kind of the clients for the day, if they're kind of here for a full bag. So yeah, you would just come into our head office in Clayton. We mainly just greet the customers, walk them through, understand what's in their golf bag, obviously test it out. We show them our fitting process from go to woe.
Yep.
And then, we'd run you through basically using all the systems like GC Quad that we use there and our fitting app. And then we kind of would show you the end-to-end process and, just do that again for the next 2 clients coming through. And that's a day literally with us. We're in the lab or in our fitting studio. And it is good. It's a good gig. There's a lot of good gigs at Taylormade. I enjoy going out to the custom warehouse, but they kick me out a lot because I just interrupt them.
Yeah.
But the builders, I enjoy with their tools and machinery from when I did my apprenticeship, but I'd want you to see that as well. If you came there, I'd be like, hey, this is kind of now picking the heads off the line, building the golf clubs, and then they ship and, that process is really, really cool to see, actually. It all kind of come to life, yeah.
Cool. So we've got a couple of things we need to stay in touch to do. Have a round, get Chappy in on some Taylormade, a day in Taylormade. That'd be so cool.
Yep, we can do that. Easy.
Awesome. All right, mate, last question. You gave your colleague there some balls to go and play with, I'm guessing. Are they the new Taylormades?
Yeah, new TP5. So that's Robin here at Beverly Park. We fitted Jeffrey, so there's a few people watching in and watching what we were doing here in the fitting as well. Jeffrey was just hitting some balls. We were testing TP5X and TP5, the new one, and he brought in his current ball as well. So we got some great data off that one. Wanted him to test out the TP5, which we saw was better than his current TP5X. TP5 was just spinning a little bit more, but Jeffrey didn't really prefer the feel. Wanted to stick with the TP5X, prefers that firmer feel. That still was faster and spinning a little bit more. So that was really, really good to see. Pretty much every other thing, kind of ball session that I've seen really has been that way as well. So, it's probably to be predicted. But that was really, really good. And then, he's taken the golf balls after the session. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So what's the difference between last model versus this model? So just so our viewers understand what's going on.
Sound, and it's directly related to feel as well. As soon as you kind of get something that's maybe pitch wise, so it's really in the pitch that you might get something that's clicky, so the frequency is kind of longer. You'll kind of hear it for a little bit longer. So it's now really short and sharp, and then it feels softer, but there's still performance out of both golf balls, and we mean better launch and spin characteristics from it. So. Our 2 golf balls are quite easy to explain. TP5 will launch a little bit lower, but it'll peak higher. So it'll have more spin on the golf ball, and then the TP5X will launch higher, but it'll peak lower. So anybody that needs to get the spin down, we would be saying go into our TP5X or a tour response golf ball. Anybody that's wanting more spin to jump into a TP5 golf ball.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
I think I'm the X. I think I need to go on the X.
Yep, you've got a lot of high spin.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, so you've got that, and just remember that that's a 5-layer golf ball. So generally, the faster club head speed player will go into that, but there is a tour response golf ball, which is a 3-piece. So yeah, depending on your club speed, depending on if there's a lot of side spin on the golf ball, that might be a little bit better for you as well.
Yeah, I think I better hit a sim and get some data.
Yeah, and we do that. You coming into the as an employee for the day, if there's some spare time, which sometimes there is. We could then do that golf ball fitting, and really look at testing 3 types and you seeing exactly what, should happen.
Awesome. I'm down for that.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Awesome. All right, guys, that's Benji from Taylormade. Mate, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chappy. Love it.
No worries, mate.